In the world of sports and entertainment, there's always seems to be a crossover with professional wrestling. Many athletes from all different types of sports will either attend shows and or participate in angles on wrestling, and it seems like the one sport that crosses over with wrestling the most is motorsports. We would see drivers like Benny Parsons plugging in NASCAR on NWA television when on the superstation WTBS, to Bob Holly being Sparky Plug in the mid 90s, to WCW, WWE, and TNA sponsoring all sorts of race cars, to monster trucks and drivers being the guest hosts of Monday Night Raw during the guest host era. Hell, Kyle Busch is a champion in WWE and Kyle Petty was a member of the New World Order, brother! Now it is all wacky in the world of wrestling, as I am a consumer of both. What could make it even weirder? Well, let's have a racing themed wrestling show. From what I could find in 2011, the Speed Channel had approached TNA Wrestling about having a wrestling show on their network. So Jeff Jarrett and Hermie Sadler, employee of Speed and friend of Jeff Jarrett, came up with the concept of All Wheels Wrestling, a hybrid of motorsports and wrestling in one show. The theme of the show was team-based, as there were 4 teams competing for the All Wheels Wrestling Cup. You had Team Octane, led by RPM, portrayed by Jay Lethal, Team Defiance, led by Dubai, portrayed by Sean Devari, Team 720, led by Swag D, portrayed by Sanjay Dutt, and Team Dino, led by the Human Cyclone, portrayed by Aaron Aguilera. The 4 captains would compete in a set of speed matches, which were 5-minute Ironman matches. Each way you want to fall paid different points. 1 point for a countout win, 3 points for a draw, 4 points for a pinfall, and 5 points for a submission. And if you happen to get disqualified, you get docked 2 points. The show opened up with a video package of athletes from different disciplines talking about teamwork, hyping up the show, and how this show is much like racing. We then head to the Impact Zone, renamed the Red Line Arena, with Don West, Jeremy Borash, and Hermie Sadler as they welcome us to the show in the old school 6-sided ring. They hype up the first show saying it's the Captain's Showcase, meaning the captain of each team will be competing in the earlier mentioned speed matches, and in the main event, they will compete in the Big Air Challenge, with Hermie Sadler emphasizing the importance of teamwork and having a good first night. By the way, did you know Hermie Sadler wrestled in TNA? Anyway, before the first match, they aired clips from different racers on different topics like the fans, motivation, strategy, and so on. So the first match was Dubai versus RPM, with RPM scoring an early lead with a pinfall after a clothesline in less than a minute into the match. With 3 minutes left in the match, Dubai scores a fall after a DDT. The score is now tied 4-4. The match goes back and forth, and with 30 seconds left in the match, RPM puts Dubai in a Boston Crab, and with 10 seconds left, Dubai taps and RPM scores 5 points, winning the match 9-4. Before the next match, they have racers say how AWW is similar to racing because it has a points system. Wow. They also hype up the Big Air Challenge in the process. The next match is another speed match with the Human Cyclone Aaron Aguilera versus Swag D. The match goes back and forth for the first 2 minutes, but the Human Cyclone scores the first fall after getting his knees up for a splash. With less than 2 minutes left, Aguilera scores another pinfall after a choke slam backbreaker called the choke breaker and scores another 4 points. He'll score another pinfall with a minute left in this match. With less than a minute left, Swag D goes to the top rope, but Aguilera catches him and delivers a powerbomb and scores his 4th straight pinfall in the match. The Human Cyclone Aaron Aguilera will go on for a full Nelson and try to score 5 points, but the match ends with Aaron Aguilera having a clean sweep of 16-0 in the match. We now come to the main event of the evening, the Big Air Challenge, which if you watch TNA Wrestling, then you know it's their Ultimate X match. It starts with RPM, Dubai, and Swag D all climbing the turnbuckles and scaling the cable to the middle of the ring. But however, the Human Cyclone yanks all 3 down and lays them out with punches. Aguilera has full control of the match until Dubai knocks him down with a drop kick. RPM and Dubai climb the cables and battle in the middle of the X, with RPM knocking Dubai off the structure. Swag D then comes off the ropes and knocks RPM off the structure. Swag then climbs the structure till the Human Cyclone yanks him off and takes him out with a clothesline. Cyclone goes for a big boot on RPM, but RPM ducks and gets him with a drop kick out of the ring. All 4 men end up out of the ring as Swag D goes for a dive and gets caught, then RPM dives onto the other 3 and backs them into the barricade. While they were just supposed to be on their television break, Hermie Sadler interviews RPM and asks him what's he gonna do now. and RPM responds he's just going to keep using speed to win the match. We now head back to the ring with RPM and Swag D duking it out in the ring, and we see RPM take out D. RPM then climbs the structure and scales the ropes, but Swag D climbs the same side of the cable and kicks RPM to the point where RPM is hanging upside down. Dubai then grabs Swag D and buckle bombs him. Cyclone then heads back into the ring and choke breakers Dubai, and eventually just treats RPM like a piñata. RPM gets brought down and then gets snake-eyed and gets hit with a jumping clothesline. After a short while, Aguilera makes an attempt at climbing the ropes, but Swag D piggybacks him and makes him fall to the mat. With that, the match becomes a 3-on-1 match, as the three smaller competitors go on and take out the bigger Aguilera. After that, the three duke it out, with RPM getting the advantage and climbs the ropes first. He gets to the middle of the structure, but Swag D follows him there, and Dubai follows right behind. All three men are now battling, trying to knock each other down from the ropes. In the end, both RPM and Dubai both fall off the structure, leaving Swag D, alone on the structure and to pull the W down to win the match and the 20 points that went with it, putting Team 720 in the lead, with Team Dino second with 16, Team Octane with 9, and Team Defiance with 4 points. At the end of the show, you hear Don West hype up the show, saying you're going to see 2 great speed matches every week, and a great specialty match worth 20 points, on the fastest hour in wrestling. Well, that never happened. In the end, Speed never picked up the pilot episode and dropped the idea entirely. And I can understand why. The character names were just cheesy, the concept of the speed matches probably sounded good on paper, but in action it wasn't that great, and just the presentation wasn't that great either. But hey, I guess if you don't know if you're going to be doing this as a regular thing, I guess just put in some minimal effort. But that was the racing-themed wrestling show that never saw television. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.